star, even though the coronagraph is blocking it. But the light from the planet that's reflecting the sunlight is still, the signal from that is still large enough, and it's above the noise floor for this observation that we can still, it enables us to still measure the light from the star. So either that explanation for these quote waves that you see, or the firmament waves, lights in the sky. It's yeah, sure, you interpret it your own way, but your way doesn't have any. Your way, your interpretation is based in nothing. That
you can see the lunar wave looks like a wave of water going over the moon, showing that there's waters above the firmament, that the moon and probably other bodies are in like this.
It's an artifact. It's a characteristic of the type of observation that's being taken, called coronography. Like if you just read more about
that's
coronography.
What he's talking about is apparent waves that go across the surface of the moon when an airplane flies nearby.
Oh my God, that's complete. Oh my God. Okay, just never mind.
From the wake of the airplane in the atmosphere.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm thinking about the actual observation right now because I can't look at it. But okay, yeah. He's talking about something completely. Okay, never mind.
What he's talking about is what Crrow777 falsified his videos. What Crrow777 did, he lived near an airport, and as planes would take off and go over his location, he would wait until they passed and then video the moon as it was seen through the wakes of the jet exhaust, and then he would post that pretending that they were glitches in the matrix, and then he got tens of thousands of dollars in Patreon money, and then he skipped and left town and went on a tour, a vacation. Right, and now he's back, and the flat earthers are buying the same drivel that they did before. Like Lemon here. Lemon here is so desperate for his delusions to be true that he'll swallow absolutely anything.
Okay, I got you, Brenda.
But the thing is, it's also consistent with star in a jar. That makes it look like the stars that are up there. You can duplicate the effect with a star in a jar in water. So this is forming into a very consistent narrative. The rockets go up, their exhausts go out like they're hitting some sort of barrier that's kind of like a ripply liquid, even there. The elves and the sprites look like they're hitting a barrier and rippling and waving out like they're hitting a solid barrier / a watery barrier of some sort. So this is a very consistent narrative on some level.
I'm getting big done.
I'm getting airplane huge. Thing's viable. Have y'all nailed down that debunk? Like, was it like a slowed down video? Does the ripple really move that slowly? Like, is it really clean? Why is it not repeatable?
Have you ever seen?
I'm getting huge Dunning-Kruger vibes from Lemon right now. Sorry, go ahead, Brenna.
This entire field is just filled with them scrambling to be the biggest Dunning-Kruger ever. So have you ever seen like waves of heat coming from, say, a candle?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's how it works, dude.
Yeah, fine.
That's how it works.
But the lunar wave thing was pretty clean. Like, it was really like slow looking, and it was straight looking, and there weren't any other ones around it.
Yeah, like it was far up and far away.
Of heat.
Yeah, like that.
Excuse.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't any other haze other than that one line. And it's viable. Look, I'm saying the airplane thing is viable too. I just sincerely want to ask: is this like a no questions asked debunk, or just a most likely debunk?
It's an inference to the best explanation, I suppose.
Okay, I appreciate your honor. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't know where the settlement was.
The thing is, I've seen a car exhaust with the heat that you're trying to imply would come from an airplane, and it's a hazy, ripply cloud that gives multiple ripples at one time. It doesn't give one clean wave. So that's not going to be satisfactory to flat earthers, number one. Number two, this is a possible explanation, but it hasn't been fully verified by fully correlating with air flights in the area. It's just thrown out as a possibility with no, verification to go with it, which flat earthers do, but still without a full, top of the line verification saying, hey, okay, this airplane left at this time, and this is probably the airplane that made this wave. It's a possibility, but it's still going to be kind of a weak debunk.
Wouldn't it be repeatable? Like very repeatable?
Well, I just find it ironic that Lemon just said that, heat wave in a picture is unacceptable when the Black Swan has that, the heat stack warped and melted and not looking the way it should if it were to operate properly in the Black Swan photo. So, that's a little weird.
Well, he's not looking to understand anything or for any kind of consistency. He just wants to believe.
I think you guys always miss the Black Swan argument. The Black Swan argument wants you. Real quick, let me say real quick. The Black Swan argument wants you to have to prove refraction, and you guys always miss that. That's really where the argument goes. Is you have your geometry, and then you go, yeah, but refraction.
Well, no,
and
actually,
then he's like, okay, recreate Andrew Thomas Young and all that. That's really where the argument is. And
well, it's easily debunked because
I just wanted to share that with y'all. Sorry.
Yeah, the Black Swan is easily debunked because it's basically a straw man fallacy. It's not a prediction of the globe Earth that an apparent horizon can't be behind the geometric horizon. That's just not a prediction that the globe Earth makes.
Right.
Well, it's an attempt to hold the globe to a standard. Because the globers aren't willing to hold their model to any falsifiable standard. So the flat earthers have to say, if this is the geometric ball barrier, then the geometric ball horizon should be here.
Yeah,
it's not.
That's just a
Therefore,
straw
the model
man.
appears to be falsified.
That's a straw man.
Right, and then you just go begot refraction, begot.
So that's a straw man, Lemon. We don't say that an apparent horizon can't be behind the geometric horizon. We don't say that.
Right, like that's.
Okay, then there need to be two horizons to offer at least prima facie evidence of what you're supposed to say. The geometric horizon 1 and an apparent horizon number 2. If there are two horizons of two different types, you need to at least show prima facie evidence of two horizons in the picture. If you have not, globe debunked.
No,
we discussed the Bohr barrier a bit further. The Bohr barrier.
The Lemon, there's at least three horizons: astronomical, geometric, and apparent. At least three.
Yeah, the astronomical one is the firmament dome. The geometric one doesn't exist. We're not on a ball. And the apparent one is the only one that matters because since we're not on a ball, no geometric horizon. At best, a geographical horizon wherein a mountain's in the way. But the only thing that would limit the horizon beyond a mountain or something like that would be the angular resolution of the light, apparently.
Apparently, we got bigger things to worry about.
That was a whole bunch of word salad there.
18,000 supernova explosions.
Yeah, and a Bohr barrier.
You guys are so unintelligible. Even if I don't like a person, I'm going to listen to the intellectual content of what they say. I'm not just going to spew out word salad whenever they talk, just because I personally don't like them.
Lemon, that's all you ever do.
Let this be heard by everybody who don't know, especially Lemon. I like you, Lemon, and I listen to what you say.
Unintellectual.
Lemon,
I listen to you, Lemon, I promise.
All you ever do.
Yeah, they're not intellectual at all. They don't even know they're living on a flat Earth.
No, all you ever do is spew.
Lemon, what?
I hate to say it, but you guys are just pseudo-intellectual frauds.
Well,
you don't listen to people unless they're above you in the scientism elite, and then you just unquestionably eat up what they say like it's like slop or soup or something. I mean, where are the intellectuals here?
Lemon,
I'm right here, Lemon. I'm right here.
When we had our Lemon, when you and I just had our conversation, I respected your interpretation of what you thought that was, but I still came to the conclusion that yours is based on no evidence whatsoever. Mine is.
I gave you the evidence. You didn't accept it, and you called it Dunning-Kruger. So
you said it's lights reflecting off the firmament that has zero grounds in any evidence.
He said possibly.
And parhelions look like the sun shining off of a surface. These connections are there. It's just whether or not you're willing to make them.
That's not evidence.
It looks like the sun shining off of a surface. That's enough evidence for me.
That's not evidence. Your beliefs are not evidence.
It's evidence if you're willing to make the connection.
Lemon, Evidence is a fact, not a
showing
belief.
you're not willing to make the connection because of the bias that you have for your worldview. That's fine. Let's see whose worldview is more consistent with reality.
Well, you have to actually be connected to reality,
garbage.
and you can't just make appeals to beliefs that you have. You have to make appeals to facts.
What do you mean by facts, Brenda? Reality and facts need to have a paradigm, a worldview to interpret them. You're talking about reality, but you're only talking about one way to interpret reality. We need to see whose interpretation of reality is more consistent.
A fact.
Lemon, I was willing to consider your interpretation as the factual conclusion for our discussion. But it doesn't comport. But if I do that, it doesn't comport with anything else that I've ever observed or measured or seen in my life. So
that would be
no
the
sense.
globe. That would be the heliocentric model globe you've just described perfectly.
Jen, you don't have a single shred of evidence for your beliefs. You just state
No, the things in space don't do the same things in the ground.
I carry knowledge and understanding and reality.
No, you don't.
And that is
you just assert things and then you claim that they're true, but you have nothing. You have absolutely nothing.
No, you reconcile that sticking and magnetism and gravity equates to orbits. I mean, like you have to understand that's two different fucking things, right? Like, you know, it is the upper echelon of physics, right? Like you have to have satellites falling around the ball to reconcile all that shit.
Democ, listen. I'll boil it down. I'll make it as.
It's not Democ.
I'm Democ. Fuck it.
I'll boil it. We see the planets orbiting our sun. Okay. Separately.
Do you?
Separately,
I don't see that shit.
Dude, you just put one thing out there in middle space and then just film it. Like have the craft like do its little air jets to fucking reconcile its fucking falling and just have it stationary in space and watch the shit going around one time.
Can I even finish, man?
You can have the galactic. Okay,
guys, one at a time, for fuck's sake.
Let me just finish real quick. I'm trying to boil it down as simple as possible. We see the planets orbiting the sun. Separately, we see the moons orbiting Jupiter. Separately, we see moons orbiting Saturn. Separately, we see these objects orbiting a star. Okay?
Awesome, we all agree.
Now
I'm agreeing with you.
Connections. Okay.
Did you hear my point? But what's my point?
Let me finish. Yeah, your point was okay. Let me finish. Okay, so the most realistic and likely scenario or conclusion is that those are planets orbiting that star.
Okay.
There's not the likelihood that it's lights that are reflecting off of some glass dome above us is zero. The likelihood that it's planets orbiting another star is much, much, much higher than zero. It's not 100%, but it's much higher than zero.
Okay, but let me. You were touching back on Lemon's point a little bit about what the things are, but I want to touch on about the mechanics a little bit. Like the mechanic of sticking, or center pulling, or falling down, is equivocated and matched up with orbits, where the things, you're pretending they're going to fall down eventually a long, long time in the future. And that's fine. It's it's fine. But like our keystone of reconciliation on that where things in space happen different than down here is satellite orbits. That's the key piece of reconciliation. And some people don't believe
things happen the same.
Democ, there are.
If you want to hear it, but thank you.
It was hard to listen to.
There are 7th graders in elementary school who know more about this than you do. Just now, the gibberish that you just spoke was complete gibberish. Had no relation to how the mechanic. You asked about mechanics. You know nothing about mechanics.
It didn't ask anything.
Go and learn and educate yourself.
Brenda.
Humble yourself.
If the floor will give us like 3
yourself.
minutes, or to Brenda, I don't understand what you said, what you're implying I'm saying wrong. Can you tell me what I'm saying wrong?
That there are children who understand the
Okay,
mechanics
but what did I
better
say
than you do.
What did he say wrong?
Better than you do.
What did he say wrong? What did he say that's incorrect?
You gotta admit, Brenda, he made some pretty good points.
No, what he said that was incorrect is that you can't
You're breaking up.
how something falling
Danger Will
due to
Robinson.
gravity on Earth.
Honestly, Don,
connect-
you got
you
to
can't
things
there's no way
fall,
to connect
we
something
think
falling on
things
Earth
fall
to
down
something
eventually, and I
orbiting.
kind of stopped listening.
Oh, that's
So you
polite.
cut
I
out-
appreciate it.
Chronic-
Thanks for your honesty, though. Thanks for your honesty.
Because it sounded like the rest was building off of that. Sorry.
Yeah,
Chronic,
but
you cut out
it's
that
true.
part.
The orbit, you could say falling
Jesus.
down. I mean, is an orbit not going to decay eventually and collapse in, quote unquote, fall down?
Not necessarily.
necessarily.
Not necessarily, Demok. So that's a very,
Why
very
not?
important statement. you made.
That's not
Why
Dimmock.
not?
Just get this clear. That's
That's
not
not
Dimmock.
Demok. It's Don.
Oh, sorry, Don.
Look,
Dimmock is
look.
different.
Yeah, I don't care
And
if
by
you
the
want
way,
to say
and by the
not
way, I think a lot of what you guys are
necessarily,
saying is biased by the fact that you guys think it's Dimmock and it's not.
Okay,
the point is also, if you say sometimes, that's good enough for me. That's fine.
That's a very bad way of thinking about it, though.
I'm trying to just generalize a contrast here. I'm not trying to go in.
If
we want to generalize to the simplest case, then it won't decay.
The point is, guys, is the stuff in the sky works differently until we make reconciliations, man.
No,
That's
it doesn't.
But we don't have to make
So,
reconciliations.
awesome.
It works
Okay.
on the same rules as we use.
I don't know
down
why
here.
you want to get semantic with me, man. Like I think
I'm
you
using
hear
the
my
same
point.
words you were using.
First of all,
Don't
Yeah,
accuse me of
but
semantics.
you're acting like you want to disagree, even though this
I
is
am
a
disagreeing.
disagreement.
Don, what is
And
your
it's
point?
stupid for you to disagree.
Don, can you summarize your point for me? Because I don't understand what your point is.
Like,
Don, that was a
like,
great
Nu-
point. Can
like
you-
whatever, like Newtonian physics, right? Were like understood here in our realm. This stuff in the sky, right? Like, had to be understood in new ways, right? To reconcile, like, oh, how does orbits equal falling into the center of the mass? You know what I
No.
mean? And
No.
I hear what you're
it
saying, but that's
is
completely
only
backwards.
demonstrated. It's all like orbits are only demonstrated up in the sky. It's not like you can have something just orbiting down here in your lab or something like that. And they're doing it now in the space station, apparently. But I'm just saying that's where it's reconciled. The stuff in the sky and the stuff in the ground is a little bit different. That's just a simple point.
That's completely
Yeah,
wrong.
but you've got it backwards. It wasn't like we had. I think you said Newtonian mechanics and then orbits.
Well,
and
you
then
know, I don't really
reconciling.
know. I don't know the right
Okay,
way to march and all
I'll let
that.
you.
I'm sorry, dude. How is he
That's
wrong?
backwards from
He's
how it
actually right
happened.
about that.
I do
Guys,
want
let's
to.
let
I
him
do want
finish what he's
to.
saying. Guys, let's let him finish what he's saying.
I wanted
What
to say.
happened?
Oh, sorry.
What happened was
Let's let him
Kepler was watching the planets. He figured out, okay, they're moving in ellipses, but we don't know why. And then Newton came along and said, here's the laws of motion, and here's how gravity works, and it perfectly explains Kepler's laws.
Right.
There was no reconciliation. It was, this guy noticed these patterns, this guy noticed these patterns.
Okay,
Oh, look, they
that's
fit
what I
together
intended.
perfectly.
My when I say reconciliation, I meant explain or whatever. Like
Yeah,
I don't
it
know
does.
why
Okay,
you're.
well, that's a weird way to use
I'm very
that, but
sorry
okay.
that term is out of place.
So-
I'm so sorry. I just don't.
I just
I'm sorry.
wanted to
I
say-
would probably still use the word again, but you have me hesitant on it now.
I just wanted to say
But-
that I apologize for confusing you for Demok. You sounded like him, only with a better. I thought maybe he had a better mic or something, but you do
Oh.
sound like him.
So if you were saying from prior experience the seventh grade thing, because I was like, just on this last 30 minutes, what did I say that's dumber than a seventh grader right there? I mean,
Well, for
Actually,
one thing, you seem
no,
you seem to
Don's
think
right.
that.
You do sound like Demok. I've only just picked that up.
Well, for one thing,
I'm sorry, Austin.
uh,
My bad.
one thing is that in high school you're taught Newton's laws of motion, and then we're taught how they apply to bodies that are in space. And it's not an exception. It's in fact an extension of the exact same rules that govern objects here on Earth, govern everything else. And in fact, in physics classes at the school level, you're taught that it used to be that people thought that the laws of nature did not apply to the heavens because they were considered to be sacred, and what Newton did was sacrilegious.
Yeah, he did.
And that's kind of the point I'm just making. Without certain keystones, without certain technology or stuff that's not accepted, or they want to deny NASA and all this shit, or private that's why we need it. That's why it's important. Is what I'm really getting at. But whatever.
So basically, the laws of physics, Newton's laws of motion, apply everywhere in the universe, and they explain why planets and satellites orbit large, massive bodies.
Except edges of galaxies.
Okay. Well, I think it's very possible that what you said is true. I'm not opposed to keeping a non-zero, number open to maybe there's other stuff, or maybe we're not looking at the stuff now that would be different, but maybe James T. Kirk gets to go find it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I have no idea what that even means.
I'll slightly amend.
Okay.
I want to amend very slightly what Brenda said. Is that as far as we know, these equations govern everything in the universe.
Of course.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah. And as far as
that should go without saying. That should go without saying, obviously.
It does. It gets lost in here sometimes. A lot of us have made those concepts, but whatever. What do y'all think about this new most powerful explosion? What's up with that?
Why do you keep bringing up these supernovas, dude?
They're just putting it all over. I don't know. It's 12 hours ago. They're just putting it all over the news.
I've been driving all.
Oh, they found a new
all day.
supernova?
What is it? What is it?
Yeah, it's the new. You know how there's always the next. It said something about 18,000.
Can someone tell me what it is? I have
no clue what he's talking about.
I'll go.
Not a clue.
The new.
Yeah, the new explosion. That's all he said so far. So the only recent thing that I've seen. The only recent thing that I've seen in my news feed has been talk about Muamua, the asteroid that passed us a while back. They think
Oumuamua.
Oumuamua. They think it was produced by a planet that got too close to its star and got torn into shreds, and they feel that the way a planet like that would be torn to shreds. They think that that shape, that long, elongated shape, is very likely to happen in that particular process.
Interesting.
Something about how
did they do it? Did they do like simulations or something? How do they? What?
Yeah, they
why
simulated.
did they come to that claim?
They simulated a planet being torn apart by its sun, and they showed an animation in the newsfeed that I got that said that that's a very likely outcome of the dynamics of how that happens.
Interesting.
And it was traveling at a fucking fast speed. Wasn't it something like 64 miles per second?
Yeah, I can't quite. I know it was obviously very fast. I don't remember.
That's incredible.
I couldn't even ballpark the speed. What started another mystery is that it started accelerating after perigee or apogee, whatever the closest, I forget the word, but it started actually accelerating slightly, and that's what gave a lot of mystery. That added to the mystery of it.
Yeah, I haven't heard recently what their account was. At the time, I recall them saying that they thought maybe it got a boost from solar winds from the sun or something, but I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, I heard something about outgassing. There was outgassing on the. So once it passed the sun after perihelion, perigee, whatever you want to call it, after it passed the sun, the part of the asteroid or part of the object that was previously